All right, so here's a real quick video on the homework 6-2 point slope form. You know how I love these worksheets. All right, so I'm going to do a couple from each, probably just one or so. Keep it simple. If we have questions, you can, see me tomorrow. Looking at the first one, write each in point slope form. Well, a quick reminder that point slope form is y equals m on the outside, and then x minus h plus k, where h and k are one of the points that we want in our equation of the line. So they give you a slope of 2, and they say it passes through 3, 5. Well, that's not too bad. Slope is 2, so it's going to be y equals 2 for our slope. Inside parentheses is x, and it's going to be minus h. Well, h in this case is 3, because it's the x value of our coordinate, right? And k is the y value, so it's going to be minus 3. It was positive 3, but it says subtract h, so it's minus 3. And then we're going to add on k, which is 5. So there you go. Moving on, let's take a look at number 4. They give you 2 coordinates instead of a slope and a point. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these to find slope. And slope is the difference between the y values. So let's do 2 minus 0. Well, that's 2. That was our rise. And 5 minus 0, which is 5. So I just subtracted the second from the first and then the second from the first. Remember, the y values are the rise. The x values are the run. So our slope is y equals 2/5. 2/5 is our slope. And then we have x minus whatever h is. Now, we have some choices. We can have h and k be 0 and 0, or we can have h and k be 5 and 2. I'll show you both. So if we use 5 and 2, we get minus 5 on the inside and plus 2 on the outside. If we chose 0, check this out, 0 and 0, we get this. X is on the inside, and it's minus 0. Well, x minus 0 is just x. And normally we'd put that in parentheses, but on the outside, we get plus 0. So there's no reason for parentheses. There's nothing on the inside of the parentheses. It's 0 here. And there's nothing on the outside, 0 there. So this works as well. Now, if people are being picky, they'll probably say, hey, look, that's not really point slope form. That's point slope form, but I don't really care. Number 5, the way you do this one is they give you 3 coordinates. 0, 0. That's a coordinate. They give you 2, 9. And they also give you 4, 18. So we need to find the slope between these, and we need to use one of those coordinates, your choice, to plug in for our point slope formula. So I'm going to look at these two just for fun, and I'm going to go 18 minus 9 is 9. That's our y value difference, so that's our rise. And 4 minus 2, which is 2, which is our run. Now again, I started down here and I subtracted 9. I started down here and I subtracted 2. Order matters. That's y2 minus y1. x2 minus x1, you can plug it in the formula if you want, or you can do it quickly like me if it's not too bad number-wise. So we get y equals 9 halves, x inside here. And again, you can choose 0 and 0. That makes your job very easy. Y equals 9 halves x, and you're done. But I'm going to choose this guy right here. So I'm going to do minus 2 on the inside and a plus 9 on the outside. Let's take a look at number 7. Number 7 gives us 2 points right here and right here that are kind of nice. We have 0, 5, and we have 4, looks like 3 to me, 4, 3. So those are our 2 points. Again, we need to know the slope, and we need to know one of the coordinates. I'll use this coordinate for my plug-in just because I like using numbers that aren't 0. I don't know, this kind of freaks people out when I do stuff without anything there, all the zeros making things go away. So I'll try to use 4 and 3. The slope, we can either subtract these 5 minus 3 and 0 minus 4, or we can be clever and just kind of eyeball it. The slope here is minus 2, and again it's minus because we went down from here, and then we went over 1, or over 1, 2, 3, 4. So our slope in total was going to be minus 2 over 4, which is the same thing as negative 1 over 2. Where'd my other pen go? I don't know. So that's our slope between these points. And again, if you subtracted them, 3 minus 5 is negative 2. 4 minus 0 is 4. It's the same idea, and then you can simplify that. So that's our slope. If we plug slope into our formula, we get this. I'm going to use negative 1/2. And then on the inside, we get x minus, I chose this guy for my h, so minus 4, which means this guy's my k, plus 3. And then number 9, if you're really confused about it, I will show you as a hint. For 4 hours of work, a consultant charges $400. For 5 hours of work, charges $450. Write a point slope equation to show this, then find the amount she will charge for 10 hours of work. All right, so X is going to be our hours of work, and Y is going to be the output, 400. So X is 4, Y is 400, that's a coordinate. And we know that 5 is our X value, and it produces 450 for the Y value. Now they want to know about 10, so we don't know what this is. That's a question mark. But we can use our formula once we've created it to find out what 10 hours of work will get us. Some of you might be able to eyeball this by 50 each time. That's a good skill for writing slope-intercept form. So we're going to find the slope between these two. I'm going to subtract from here to here. So I'm going to subtract 450 minus 400. Well, that's 50 for our rise. And 5 minus 4, which is 1. So it turns out our slope is equal to 50, right? So m equals 50. And that's why we're going up by 50 each time, right? That idea there from slope-intercept form. And then we can choose one of these points to plug in for our equation. So I'll choose this one because why not? So our equation is going to be y equals our slope, which is 50. It's kind of nice. It's not a fraction, it's just a number. And then x minus h, which in this case is 4 because I chose this one, plus 400. Now remember, you could have had here minus 5 instead and plus 450. They all would have worked. And so now we're going to use this to find out what happens when x is 10. So if I take my formula that I've made, which some of you might notice is actually kind of similar to our explicit rule. Maybe you see it, maybe you don't. And I'm going to plug in 10 for x. And when I do this, instead of the n minus 1, I have x minus 4, right? So it's kind of similar. We get 6 on here. And we do 50 times 6. That's 5 times 6 with an extra 0. So that's 300. And then plus 400 is going to get us 700 for y. So when x is 10, in other words, when the hours of work is 10, we get the money, the charge is $700. So that's $700. And let this be a lesson to you that consultants are a ripoff. 10 hours of work for $700 is ridiculous. So yeah, do those. See you later. Best of luck. I will do a separate video on 6-1 for slope intercept. See you later.